All right. Hello, everyone.
All right.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Lauren, that's you this week. That's usually me.
Hello.
All right. We ready? Oh, no, I didn't do the horn. I even mentioned it. Oh, we've been waiting. Sorry. Oh,
what an
look at
anticlimax.
this. It's the green one too, but it's just too far away.
Doing it, Dan. Yay!
Sorry, everybody.
We finally won a fucking game. Yes. Thank God. Oh, God.
Weren't you just talking 5 minutes ago about screening our phone calls because of swearing? You just hit one straight off the
Not
top.
swearing, just, abuse and stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
Welcome to Here We Crow, episode 86, off the back of our first win for 2024. How exciting. Do you know what else is exciting? Ben is back. Yay. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Lauren.
We've been a mess without you, Ben. Let's be honest. Let's see how we go tonight. Hopefully it's a bit more tidy.
Well, let's be honest. I'm the downhill skier of podcasts. Come in for the win.
Yeah, that's right.
A very big welcome back to Kate.
Hello.
Hello. Filling in for Dan, who's away on holiday now. Just had his 40th. Thought he'd fuck off for a little while. Good on you, mate. And another very big welcome to new father, Sam.
Hello.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
It's been
you.
a huge weekend.
It has.
Hasn't it?
Yes, I'm very tired. Now I'm starting to understand why Ben complains constantly about being tired.
Welcome
and I've
to
only
dad
had 2
life.
days.
Yeah. Welcome to dad life.
You have such a sunny, positive disposition normally.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. You and Lizzie did welcome Maggie May Marnie this weekend.
Triple M, Tradie Radio.
Triple M, yeah. That definitely wasn't on purpose, was it?
It is fair to say I did say Triple M.
Yeah, that's right. I know, I've said it numerous times. Yeah. No, it was, without, obviously, it's going to be my pump up for the week.
Of course.
Is going to be that.
I don't think we even need to do the pump ups. I think it's pretty obvious what the pump ups are this week.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the birth of Maggie May and a Crow's win.
Yes, exactly. And I have to obviously thank Lizzie for letting me be here.
Yes. We also thank Lizzie for allowing that.
She did a great job. She did a fantastic job, actually. That didn't all quite go to plan, but she's trooped through.
Yeah, and everyone's healthy.
Everybody's healthy, very happy.
And
so,
geez, the Crows got up a lot better than they did for my newborn.
Yeah.
Mine was 3 days pre the Richmond Grand Final.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Great.
Yeah. No, it was, she's seen 100% strike rate as a Crows fan. So
Don't get used to that, Maggie.
No, exactly.
It's only downhill from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it has been a huge weekend for the Here We Crow crew. So let's get into this show. We're going to have Dog Act tonight. We're going to go live and interactive. We're going to take some phone calls tonight live on the YouTubes. That's right, we're live on YouTube. So if you're not already in the chat, get chatting with us because it's fun. And let's skip the pump up.
We're not even going to do it.
I don't think we should, unless you got something else.
Nah.
Do you have anything else? Do you have anything pumping you up, Ben? Or are you
I've got a fairly
deflated?
regular thing I'd normally talk about.
Oh, yes, of course. Stats.
Yep.
Ben is back with some stats, 86 stats.
And
Give us some, Ben.
Realistically, I'm probably in more just for the 86 stat more than the win on the weekend. It's quite an impressive number.
Oh, Here we go.
All right.
You wouldn't think the last few weeks has been a bit of a scrape to find something interesting about a number, but geez, it's come home here. So you ready?
Okay, yes, I'm ready.
I'm not starting with the strongest point though. So debut player, Clay Sampson.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Not bad.
I
He's
grew up
alright.
in
He's
the
alright.
same hood as Clay Sampson.
yep, there you go. Yep. So 97, 98, 24 games with us. We brought him across from Melbourne after 13 games. He played in the Premiership, and then the end of 98, we sent him off to play for Richmond. But
I'd forgotten that.
May 21st, 1986, the SNFL formed a company known as the Adelaide Football Club Incorporated.
Right.
Oh, Birth of the Crows.
Then nothing happened for a few years.
Yeah.
So there was a few issues, and then, Port and Adelaide see things differently about how that all evolved. But eventually we came in to be.
We did. Good history.
But anyway, so that's the starting point. But we have had, I don't know if you realise just how many 86-point wins we have had over the journey. And the first 86-point win we had was in round 1, 1991.
Oh.
Wow.
Our first ever game against Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
So,
excellent.
Where did it go from there? Did we have we
Well-
had any in the last 5 years, Ben?
no spoilers, but in that game, 4 goals apiece to Bruce Lindner, John Klug and Peter McIntyre, household names. And coincidentally, Hawthorn we have beaten by 86 on 3 occasions.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
wow.
91, 2000 and 2004. Then, that's not it. 2010, we beat St Kilda by 86 points.
Mm-hmm.
That was a game where we were, looking down the barrel of 0-4. Could you imagine? Goals of 4 goals to Jenkins, 3 goals to Podsiadly. And then
Pods.
Wow.
2013, we beat West Coast in the last round by 86 points. 3 goals, Otten, Grigg and Danger. So that is at least 5 times we've beaten someone by 86.
Wow.
I'm not saying that's the only times, but that's the only times I found. So,
Let's do it again.
Yes.
last bit is just our born in 1986, and geez, this is a bit fair old list as well. So we got Nathan Van Berlo, Eddie Betts, Chris Knights, Ivan Maric, Jonathan Griffin, Brad Moran, Richard Tambling, Sam Gibson, John Hinge, and John Meeson.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That's 10 players.
In order of significance.
So I could have dated
I think
Chris
maybe
Knights.
they do put it by a number of games, maybe.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Is that it? Is that all you got?
I feel like it's plenty, Sam.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. All right, move on.
Let's do the game.
Yes.
We can do any air horns? No, it's not that one.
Oh,
See, it's not as easy
that
as
one
that.
could have worked too. Well, we beat Carlton. I know the score this time. It was Crows 16 goals, 4 points, 100 to Blues 14 goals, 14, 98. Barry kicking the clutch winner.
Amazing.
I think we can all agree that was a much improved effort across the board. There weren't really many passengers for the Crows this week. I've watched the replay twice now. I just had to let it sink in the first time, and then I watched it again this afternoon. I've got a little bit to say, but I want to hear from you guys first, just because
Well, I watched this.
I just don't know where to start, where to begin.
I watched
True.
this on a Michael Scott in the office plasma screen in the hospital, so I didn't have the best viewing of it, but I was getting very excited. It was a funny game. It was another one of those sort of Crows games that I didn't expect us to win. Obviously, before the game, didn't really expect us to win during the game, and then when we lost the lead in that last quarter, or they started to kick away in that last quarter. That felt like it was it, especially with the way the team's been playing. I know we've come back at teams, but it just didn't feel right. Didn't feel like it was going to be a Crows win. But obviously Sam Berry coming on in that last quarter played an absolutely vital role in that. He gave them a huge spark, and I've been pretty critical of Berry, and to be fair, probably still will be until he sort of does that over a full game. But it was fantastic to see them come back like that against what. They were the second favourites for the premiership before this week, I think.
Well, if you ask Scoot McClure, I think they're still the favourite.
Oh, that is still the favourites? Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. So, obviously we, some Young Bean said in the chat, good kicking is good football. We were hitting, we were getting shots from 25, 30 metres out rather than trying to kick them from the boundary.
That's it. We weren't having to have a lot of difficult shots.
Yeah.
That makes a massive difference.
Doesn't it?
There was play through the game that we haven't seen all year. We had forwards that were free, forwards in one-on-ones instead of two-on-ones, and we weren't kicking it on people's heads as much as we normally were. Obviously, the introduction of Isaac Rankin to basically an almost full-time mid-role was just something that we've been calling for a long time, and we're not alone there. Yeah, and it worked an absolute treat.
And we made Wiedering be accountable. He couldn't just intercept Mark. He had to keep Walker quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Tex was back to his good form after a few weeks of not being so. I've got written here as a summary, courageous, body on the line footy, execution much better all round with improved inside 50 entries and goal kicking accuracy. That's my very short summation of the game. But some of the players who I thought really stood up in this game, and I think obviously Rankin is a big one, but I think Jake Saligo again just proves that he belongs in the midfield.
He's an absolute A-grader, Saligo, and he just needs to be there full time.
Absolute beast. The other player I want to call out there is Luke Nankervis.
Yeah.
I feel like Saligo and Nankervis both, like their courage and, you know, willingness to put their body on the line, their head over the pill, actually like really lifted us. And, you know, kind of they led that never say die attitude that got us the win, I think.
Yeah, they care. They really look like they're invested in the club, which is, you know, obviously we might talk about this a bit later about some, you know, some interesting footage around from the bench during that, which I'm sure you guys have all seen.
I know the one. Another player I want to call out for being courageous and putting their body on the line is Mark Keane.
Yeah.
Obviously, he took that fantastic grab right on the last siren, which was a crucial mark, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But, you know, the guy nearly broke his ribs. He copped a blood nose.
Yeah.
He was absolutely in the wars, but he just kept going and kept plugging away, and he was really vital in our defensive effort as well, I thought.
Absolutely.
And just going back to your Nankervis point, did the tough stuff, got the ball in fairly tricky positions, but he still went at 94% with his efficiency. So he's a bit Miller, like the way he can sort of step out of trouble, like can dodge around a tackle. And
it's really, a lot of spins out of traffic there.
And be really aggressive with the play, which is why I was a bit of a broken record at the start of the year. I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Will Hamill actually did really well as well. He was definitely on my list of quiet achievers for the night.
Had a lot of poise, Will, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was sort of like the anti-Brodie Smith, just actually wanted to choose somewhere to kick the ball rather than just blasting it out of the defence. So him and Nankervis were vital in that. Just a little bit of poise there to make sure that we could set ourselves up to go forward rather than just trying to blast down the wing like we've done.
And I also thought from the midfielders, obviously there was that good mix in there, but Matt Crouch was I thought he was enormous in his role, did really well extracting the ball out to those outside runners in Rankin, Rochelle and Saligo, which you know, without Crouch, like I think Vardy, we'll probably get to it later in social media, but Vardy Magic made a point, like, did we win that game without Crouch? Because he was there for some really crucial moments. Got the ball to Berry when he kicked the clutch goal to win. So
yeah, it will be interesting this week because we obviously don't have Crouch. I feel like Laird potentially plays better when it's just him. So he might step up a little bit better this week.
Just on Laird though,
look a bit more potent. He did look very out of form and out of confidence.
You thought? See, I could be reading this completely wrong, but I kind of felt like Laird was purposefully not going into the contest with, you know, the likes of some of the other players we had in there. I felt like a lot of the time, if Crouch was in there going for it, then Laird was kind of more on the outside, and I couldn't tell from the TV if that was more of a matchup thing or, I mean, it could be a confidence thing. I hadn't really thought about that, but I wondered if in trying to get the mix right in the midfield and not have too many inside players, whether he was actually trying to like take a bit of a step out sometimes. And if that was the case, I thought that was a good move. It meant he had a quieter game, but
well, both he and Crouch had quite low time on ground. So
that's something I was going to bring up as well. That's a weird one, I think.
So I think I'm quite interested to see now that they're forced to only play one of them, what it actually looks like in our mix.
Yeah. That will be interesting.
Because I don't quite get why playing two fairly slow inside mids for 60% of the game achieves. It sort of feels like a waste of a spot. But
and particularly when you've got Saligo, who's really dynamic, but his kick to handball ratio was like 9 kicks to 18 handballs. So it's a similar extract and get it out to someone. So that would be 3 of them, and Berry probably does a bit of that as well. So.
And I trust the ball in Saligo's hands more than I would trust the ball. Matt Crouch is fantastic. Like the way that he's able to extract the ball and stay on his feet is great. But
he got back this week to looking for forward options instead of slowing it down or kicking it back. There was that handball where he got it and then really quickly flicked it over really to the guy running forwards. That's the sort of play we need. So
So obviously all we heard from the club over the first few weeks was we're close, we're not that far off, we're losing games against teams we should potentially be beating, if not playing better against. So was the weekend a switch up of the game plan, or did Nix have them fired up in the right way? Like, did they admit that they've been wrong and change what they've been doing, and it's actually worked? Like, I can't quite put my finger on it exactly.
Well, they did change up a lot.
They did.
Like, they did what they said they were going to do in the preseason with Rankin. They said he's going to be a mid forward.
Yep. Rochelle played higher.
Yeah.
And if you, like, Rankin, I think I had it here, previously was averaging about, was it 5 centre bounce attendances for the previous weeks, and then he gets 20 this week. So it's just a massive change up there. He's actually doing what we were told he was going to do, and it didn't stop him from being able to be a goal kicker as well.
Yeah.
It got him involved in the game in the middle and forward of the ball.
That's the key thing, isn't it? It's that when he plays full-time forward, he kicks 2 or 3 goals. If he can manage to kick 1 or 2 but still play full-time midfield, or essentially it was 75% midfield time, bring it on. Like, that's fantastic.
Is that him again? Like, Dawson was kind of the one that said, hey, like, put me in there. Is that Isaac just going to Nixie and going, hey, like, clearly people are calling for this. Back me into this position.
He shouldn't have to.
He shouldn't have to.
It's crap. Like,
it was just,
look, I'm speculating.
No. I'm not having to go at you. And the fact is that, like, was it David King was on radio this week saying that Isaac Rankin has the ability to be one of, if not the best player in the competition. Like, that's his genuine call, and he hates the Crows generally. He's very critical of us.
Yes.
So, like, why wouldn't we be trusting an asset like that to try and impact games more than we have?
Why would we talk about it and then not do it?
Yeah, exactly. And Rochelle's the same one as well.
I think that's the confusing thing, is talking it up and then it not happening, and you kind of you want to know why that's not happening, because you've told us one thing and now you're like you're still saying it, but the actions aren't speaking,
Yeah, I don't know whether it's, and again, I can't figure this out for myself, but I wonder if it's some of the stuff they were saying about, people not being in form or not having confidence, and probably with obviously we can see now that they've been leaving the senior players in regardless of how they've been to work themselves into form, because they're never going to work themselves into form in the SANFL, especially when they're not even playing. And I guess with the kids, there's probably more of a balance between the younger, even Rankin's still only 23, they're still all very young, and I think there's probably a more delicate balance between trusting them enough but not putting them in a situation where they're just fail and feeling like they're letting everybody down. I think the older players can kind of deal with that mentally, and the younger players are still learning how to deal with that. So, that again, just speculation, but I wonder if off the back of senior players kind of most of them working themselves into some better form, they can maybe then sort of trust the younger players to get in and get involved a little bit.
Well, we obviously don't want another Mackesy situation here, but like I think good clubs have ways of bringing in young players at an early stage and not having to feel like they need to protect them as such.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that feels a bit, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with it. Like, I don't know. I'm not in the 4 walls, but you see plenty of other, young, skinny players playing for clubs that are playing a lot better than ours, getting pretty regular football. So, I don't know. It's a funny one, but I think we're starting to see it now. We sat here, cried about it last year on this podcast, trying to get the kids to play more time. Yeah. We did it, and we
started a goddamn hashtag, for God's sake.
and we looked good last year when we did it, and it was just so disappointing to see us go back to the late last year, and then to start this year so poorly, and yet still back everybody in was just hard to watch, really.
Yeah.
But no, it was fantastic. I think there was actually, before we get any further, someone asked us, Jackson asked us thoughts on Cook. I like Cook. I reckon he does. I want him to get more of the ball, but I really like the role that he plays.
I
He's got a ton of talent.
Involved for longer, but when he gets it, some of his kicks can be really penetrating and really dangerous.
I agree.
So, I think overall it's a game we could have realistically lost quite easily.
Yeah.
Carlton did miss a few shots.
Yeah.
Geez, Kerno gets frustratingly looked after by the umpires. Oh my God. It's like he's that big and the umpires go, well, if he hasn't marked it, they must have infringed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Really got up my goat somewhat. But I think even if we hadn't have won, I think there was reasons for us to be more positive.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I said that to my dad yesterday, actually, when he came up. It was one of those games that I would have felt pretty positive about, even if we'd lost it by a couple of goals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's obviously, we win. It's quite easy to sometimes gloss over errors and blah, blah, blah. But that one, even if we lost, we started to show composure with our transition, where we're using medium to short kicks well to pierce through defence, which, and if you'd like, I can give you a couple of my stats of interest.
Oh,
Please.
hang on. We haven't had this for weeks.
I know.
I think pretty much the stat, and it's been mentioned by other people, but is the fact that we had 18 marks inside 50.
Yeah.
So Carlton got 11 with their big behemoths. Obviously, they don't always have to mark it. They'll just get the free kick anyway. But,
Someone's real bitter.
but if you look at, so that was 18 marks for this. Round 1 against the Suns, wet, so a bit different. We had 4. Round 2 against the Cats, we had 9 perfect conditions. Freo, we had 5, and against the D's, we had 8. So,
5 on that oval in those conditions. That is just a joke, isn't it?
So a massive improvement, and it's because of the way we move the ball, and we're able to present to forwards were able to present to a dangerous spot instead of just bombing it in, or even just the way we were dribbling balls in or whatnot previously. So that, I think that is why, even though things weren't going perfectly for us, we were dangerous enough when we went forward to win. And we're playing our best when we don't win inside 50s, but we just still get a score on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that extra spark and run and dare that we're getting from some of these young players that have been given an opportunity. And I loved seeing Rochelle play a little bit further up the ground as well. I haven't watched the replay again, but that was the feeling I got.
Early in the game, particularly, Rochelle was really important to our drive, I think. So
Yes.
He was still pretty low at CBAs though, wasn't he? But
lower, but he started a fair bit up the field, I think.
Yeah.
So.
One thing I did notice with Rochelle was that his attitude was really positive.
Yeah.
From the start. I think there's a bit of footage going around of him really celebrating the coin toss win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Which
really?
someone
That's
wrote a
great.
comment that it looked like that maybe him and Ranks had a bit of a bet going on maybe who was going to go in the middle first, depending on the coin toss or something like that.
But also the other thing was we haven't won a toss this year, so that was the first
right.
one. So
I was wondering that.
Is that
I'm
right?
glad you have that stat there, Sam. Thanks for that.
so I think that might
Maybe that
have been
was
more
a
to
good omen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rochelle is such an interesting, I think, microcosm of our season, because in that first game, he looked lost, like he'd never seen a football before in his entire life. And to go from there to where he was on the weekend, which, he's young, there's still lots of room for improvement, but he played his role so well. He had a great attitude, and I don't know how they've turned him around that quickly, or he's turned himself around that quickly, but that it's a good example of, I think, how the whole team has sort of shifted between round 1 and that game. Yeah. And I think that's why we would have been happy no matter the result.
Yeah.
You parking lot also just said, I think Sam just cut Ben's lunch with that coin toss stat. Sorry, Ben, if you had that on the...
Didn't have me there. I did have one last stat though.
Yeah.
So our efficiency was quite high, 76%. Talked about Nankervis at 94. Our bottom 2, this is just for Sam. Our second bottom was Rob with 64.
Not surprised.
But that towered over our last place.
Yeah.
Which was unfortunately young McHenry at 38.
Yeah, I love McHenry's dare, but I'm still not a fan.
Well, he just doesn't. I think even for McHenry, he looks out of form in terms of his execution.
He
at the
really
moment.
burned the ball a lot on the weekend. Yeah,
he just can't settle, that guy. He just it's impossible for him.
Yeah, I would have thought with a game like that probably does open the door to somebody else coming in to play a similar role to what he's done.
Yeah.
Whether that's unfortunately, we'll just chuck Pedler back on the half forward flank again.
Yeah, that's right.
But I just think
move your phone.
No, I like the vibration.
You'd forgotten after a couple of weeks off.
But yes, I just think that sort of game probably doesn't warrant, even coming as a sub, I'd probably have somebody else coming in for that.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for these kinds of players that are like maybe potentially a bit lower on talent and a bit higher on endeavour. I always have, and Ned's one of those. But some of his things he did on the weekend were atrocious, and I'm not advocating for him to stay in the side at all. However, I did notice a few times where, and this, I don't think this would get accounted for very well on stats, but he, cleared 2 Carlton players out of the way so that someone else could, have a forward entry or kick it to, I think the kick Fogg to Keys in the forward line late in the fourth quarter was one of those. And he, at the back, he was spoiling two defenders at one stage, or in defence, 2 forwards at one stage. So, he still does contribute a little bit and has a lot of heart. So I just wanted to put it out there that I did notice his contribution slightly.
He does have good defensive pressure. Like, there's no questioning his defensive pressure.
Is Kate Mavis?
And we might find out when we go live and interactive.
Oh no, I've just got myself uninvited from every podcast ever again.
You're good.
But it would be a shame to just like chuck him down as the sub again, because if you're going to come out and actually have impact, you got to do it like Barry did this weekend. You can't really come out and have impact like he made on Saturday. So you'd hope that Tom's just said he'd like to see Zach Taylor over Ned, and I think Zach Taylor has been pretty like pushing for AFL selection for a while, so that is possible. That you'd hate for a debut to be a sub though.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to see us try and blood as much talent as we can this year, and Ned McHenry's spot is one that's absolutely open for that. So
agree.
A lot of clubs are debuting with subs nowadays.
Yeah, they are. It's pretty normal, isn't it? Saints did it on the weekend too with that. Garcia.
I just hope next year they just get rid of the sub. Have 5 on the bench.
Yeah,
just
and just
get rid of the sub.
And limit the interchanges like they're already doing. Make them even more and keep 5. Yeah, I agree with you. One other little thing I put in my notes was, did anyone see that footage of Laird on the bench after we kicked that goal?
I didn't.
Okay. Like everyone else, all the young guys were incredibly up and about, celebrating, and Laird was just sort of sitting there staring out into the abyss.
Well, look, I want to defend Lairdy a bit here because
I'm not saying
I know you're not, but other people are.
Yeah, I want to get people's opinions.
So he did clap. If you look closely, he was clapping. He was clapping. He wasn't up or out of his seat. But someone did make the point on the internet that he was probably absolutely knackered.
He's also not the most effusive, emotive guy.
He's not a very emotive guy, no.
Yeah.
And, he's been here before. He's seen us lose those games. He probably wasn't getting his hopes up.
Are you saying he's a Crows fan as well? So
I'm saying he knows what it's about.
He didn't believe we were going to win that game after Barry kicked the goal.
I'm saying he's treading cautiously there with his reactions.
I think we should normalise a lack of outward emotion. In the context of football.
Doesn't always show what's happening inside, right, Ben?
That's right.
Right. Oh, look, I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was interesting, and I think I choose to take the positive spin of it that watching those young guys get so excited about Barry kicking that goal and the fact that we were up at that point is great. So let's just take the positives out of it rather than maybe questioning Laird's emotions there. But
I'm sure he's feeling very happy.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to just bring up the move of Dawson down forward for a little bit in the third quarter. I thought that was obviously he marked it and got a goal, and kind of, Mitch McGovern had to be a little bit more accountable for a while there. And it was not a move I would have expected. I would have thought if you were going to move Dawson anywhere, it was likely to be in defence, going into this game, because, obviously they've been under the pump a lot this season. But, I thought it was just good to see the coaching staff be a bit flexible. Bless Dawson, he'll go wherever he's sent, which is amazing. But, it was good. I think there's been some criticism of us not trying things, and I appreciated that they gave something like that a bit of a go.
I know exactly what he's going to say.
What are you going to
say? Just do it with the players, not in my bloody fantasy team.
I could just see him lining that one up.
Sorry, Ben.
Was that 60, Ben? That's no good.
I am actually, he's on the chopping block possibly this week, because that's a big change in role, and he's not guaranteed. We've just won that game, and that was, I think, actually a big positive. Of we won a game without Dawson actually having a massive influence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing for us, because last year a lot of it was Dawson just. Everyone's that's 3 votes for you.
Yeah, that's right.
And a big part of our wins.
I don't want to come across as teasing Lauren, but I absolutely laughed a lot when Lauren messages the chat yesterday saying she got her first win in the week that all the good players did shit. Lauren's fantasy team does well.
The underdogs.
So good.
That means that I might actually have a chance against Tom this week.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Oof.
I haven't traded out Dawson, but I'm on the same boat. I'm in the same boat, Ben. I think he's going to go next week. I think next week's going to be it.
Yeah, I don't know. You've got someone like a Sam Walsh coming in who's a lot cheaper, and he's always going to be a midfielder. So.
Sam,
Walsh
you opened the door to the fantasy chat tonight.
I did.
You know that, right?
I did. Sorry, everybody.
And
about
I would
that.
like to mention, before I stuffed up my interchange this weekend, I must have had a very hot start, because I did get up to 170th.
Oh wow! Yeah, right.
I did.
What?
I drifted, but
This just so you know, this is fantasy chat.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's it, we're not talking about
You don't understand how much I appreciate we got this much and this early. So, yes, I did drift back past 1,000, but I was pretty excited for a little point there.
It's time to go live and interactive, I think.
Is it?
Oh,
Yeah. Look, we're going to open up the phone line. We'll talk about some votes while we do that. So if you want to call Here We Crow live and interactive, Sam's going to put the number on the screen.
Yeah, it should go up soon. Well, this will be when they see it. So yeah. What else? There was some other parts that I wanted to bring up, but I can't think of what they were now.
Oh no.
Oh, did you? Oh, were you? Vardy asked in the chat earlier. I don't know if you saw it, about you having a chat to Burgess. So are you able to talk about that on the podcast?
Look, I had a quick chat to Darren Burgess this week. It was very brief, but I just want you to know what he said. And he said that Harry Schonberg is going to come back a new player, is what he said. He said the rehab's been really good for him. He's very strong, and we're going to be very happy with how he's come along. Ooh. So put that in your hat. And also he did say to me, I did ask him a bit about the Samful boys and putting the hand up for selection, because I know that's a big hot topic. And Burjo's response to that was it would be detrimental to the team and their careers to put them in too soon, and it's going to take a little bit more time. So hold on to your horses, people. I know that's not exactly what you want to hear, but as I have guessed, I knew there would be a reason for it. They do want them to get more Samful games in them and build up a certain amount of fitness. So stay tuned, people. It'll happen eventually. It will happen eventually.
Chris Mills, is Fogg fit or what? He's certainly his output is severely down. I probably need to watch him closer than I have been to know whether he's playing more of a decoy role in that forward line.
It seems to me like he is.
Yeah.
He did cop some pretty bad delivery.
Yeah. Oh, he always
week
does.
as well.
How often do you see the ball just fly over his hands by like a couple of inches?
Or
Absolutely.
a few on the ground that bouncing in front of him, and so it's hard to tell. He was definitely very quiet, but I don't know. Maybe he still played the role that they asked him.
Is it an adjustment to he would have prepared all pre-season to not have to have Filthy in? And I know that it's been a few rounds now, but it's not like he's had a fully functioning forward line or people kicking into the forward line up to this point to really adjust. Yeah, I don't know enough. I don't have enough footy knowledge to know exactly what that would be, but it feels like he's probably being a bit younger, taking time to adjust to the change in structure of the forward line.
Tom makes a good point here, saying that Fogg was pretty awful on the weekend and have to play him higher up the ground. I agree with that. He's such a good kick. Even if he gets the ball, outside somewhere outside 50, I trust him to hit a target or have a shot on goal. So I really want him. I just want him as far away from Walker as possible, really.
Yeah.
If they're both playing. So, yeah. Joe Babes is in the chat. I'm presuming that's Joe Babes. Joe Baby.
Hi, Joe Babes.
Welcome.
I was going to say that I feel like Fogg, just as good as a forward he is, he's not very good at getting rid of his defender. Like, he's always seems to be copping a bath from his defender as well. So, for a big-bodied forward, he should be probably better at that.
Did he have Kemp on him? Was that the main defender?
Oh,
Or was it Kemp or McGovern?
Not sure. But
Yeah.
either
Not
way,
sure.
he kept that person accountable enough that
Yep.
there wasn't double teaming on Walker at least.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anywho, should we get to some votes?
Yeah.
We are live and
sure.
interactive. You can call the number 0498 731 613. Give us a call.
Who's on
Tell
the
us your
background of the
thoughts.
crow phone?
It's Isaac Rankin, King.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice.
King.
Yeah.
No one wants to ring and complain.
No, everyone's
Well,
happy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we want to hear like your good thoughts
We
because we haven't had any of those for a while.
We genuinely get a lot less interaction when the Crows win.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, losses bring out the negativity, and that gets people
And
riled up.
where else would you go but here for
yeah,
that?
that's right. Exactly. Yeah. So
Oh, man.
votes. I've only done my votes very quickly.
Well,
so
I'll give you
someone-
Dan's. He's got 3 for Rankin, 2 for Saligo, and 1 for Taylor Walker.
Oh yeah.
Kate, who have you got for your votes this
I've
week?
been umming. I can't. It's like last time I came in, I couldn't find a play to put in the votes, and now it's hard to leave anyone out. But and I've gone a bit controversial. Don't at me.
Ooh.
I actually went 3 for Keys.
Wow.
I know.
You
but
love the maligned players, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I am a bit like that.
It was
okay.
good. It
Yeah,
was
no,
good.
it was
I actually
excellent.
thought,
No,
and
he's in my
yeah,
votes.
yeah,
but
yeah. I just felt like he was consistent throughout the game, whereas
Yeah.
even Rankin was a little quieter at times. I felt like he had a lot of he kicked goals, he had score involvements, he had a fair few metres gained. I thought it was a well-rounded contribution. So, and I do feel like this season he's been one of our more consistent players of a shitty bunch. But
Yeah. I did see a Carlton fan reply to something you retweeted today saying that if Keys played Carlton every week, he'd be on $1.5 million.
yeah. And he got re-signed today as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
3 more years?
3 years for
Yeah, 3
Keys.
years, which I think people are like, wow, 3 is a lot.
It does
which I
seem
get.
a lot for a player like him. I know
Yeah.
obviously he played a fantastic game on the weekend, but we have a fair crack at him probably once a
Other
month
times.
at least. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting one. 3 years, but yeah, it's good.
Well, he's the
Hopefully,
vice captain, so I guess hoping.
yeah. Well, most of the team are.
There's only one other vice captain as far as I'm aware.
Oh, is there? Is it? Oh, I didn't even. Yeah, I just leadership group. Sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
Get away from that subject, please.
So
Next,
I
Kate.
also gave 2 to Tex. Again, don't at me. Again, I think this was more because I felt like, Tex got those goals early, and I think in the other games we've had this season, we have missed our early opportunities, and while I still don't think we would have won, we didn't make it easy for ourselves by not having some scoreboard pressure early. So I feel like that was really vital. And also he was involved in a lot of scores, fair few metres gained and efficient. And his leadership, I think, was really vital as well. I know we've got to transition someone else into being a forward leader at some point. But even one time I saw he'd got a goal and the first person that ran up to him was Will Hamill, and he was immediately into instructing Will Hamill, instead of celebrating his goal. And so I think that is vital. So I gave 2 to Tex and then 1 to Rankin.
Yeah,
Hard
Nice.
votes. Hard
Yeah, they
votes.
were.
that's tough given Rankin won.
Yeah.
I know. Look, and I can justify that slightly. I did feel like Rankin early on in the game was trying to do too much. He was trying to take on too many people, trying to push through too many tackles, and it didn't. He got better. His confidence lifted, and I think he was better at that as the game went on. But
And
at
he did
first,
have 2 out of bounds on the full set shots as
yes,
Mm.
yeah, he didn't kick as
Yeah,
straight.
we're just trying to forget those.
Yeah,
We know they exist, but let's pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah,
Ben, who do you have for your votes?
Well, with that glowing endorsement, I went with 3 for Rankin. So 3 goals, 23 possessions, and he was the team high for metres gained. So he's playing the sort of role we need him to play. Tex I did give for 2, 10 marks, 10 score involvements, 4 goals, very solid. And 1 for Saligo. He came in with the team high of 15 contested possessions.
Fantastic.
I went 3 Rankin, 2 Saligo, 1 Keys. Obviously, yeah, Tex is stiff there, but that just from
Did you just
Watching.
copy my votes?
Oh, is that what you
you've
did? No,
done?
I actually didn't hear
yeah,
your
I
vote,
think
sorry.
you did.
No, I didn't actually hear
Yeah.
yours.
I didn't say mine yet. I think you just went over and copied mine.
Sorry, no, I didn't. No.
I gave 3 to Rankin, 2 to Sligo, 1 to Keys. And it was really hard. Tex narrowly missed out. Keane narrowly missed out. there was probably others. Well, I did my special mentions earlier.
Yeah.
Crouch just missed out. Berry just missed out. Next.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
Tyson Edwards, quiet achiever. Dan has Keys as his quiet achiever.
Ben, how are you
quietly
dealing with an
achieving over
extra
there.
voter in your spreadsheet?
I'm just ignoring it.
Oh, yeah.
I shouldn't agonise
gonna
over my
fix it at
vote
the
so
end.
much.
Well, if say Dan does not come and does not give votes, you'll get your votes.
That's
Oof,
fine.
that's harsh. Just add him in, Ben.
No, it's integrity of
This
four.
you-
It's a 4-person panel.
You
Thank
are
very much.
cracking the shit.
bullshit.
This is like AFL tables complaining about opening round
Oh,
zero.
no, you just add it in at the end?
He doesn't
he's
want to
not happy. Look at
compromise
him.
the statistics.
Yeah, it's throwing him out.
It's ridiculous.
It's throwing out all his
I didn't know
averages
he
having
was
a
doing
fifth
this.
voter.
Well, we can talk about
I
this
don't
later.
feel so
people.
bad giving some random ones today then.
Oh, that's so good. Just to be clear, I had no idea Ben was going to say that. So I just wanted to know.
It's the first we've heard of this.
Oh, that's so
Anyway,
good.
have you got Kate? It's not that it matters.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter at all.
Clearly doesn't matter.
I gave it I haven't treated this as a fourth vote because I would give it to Saligo. I've treated it as a bit of a
Fourth vote. Lauren does that.
quiet
No, come
encouragement. Yeah, I think Hinge. I think we saw some Hingey back to far more like what he was for us last year. And, I had to get a defender in somewhere because they all were really, really amazing on the weekend, just really solid. They're a solid bunch. No superstars, but they're solid. So, yeah, I gave it to Hinge.
Absolutely. Ben, who have you got
Got that,
there,
Ben?
over there?
Hinge in there?
No. So the one that will count is Worrell. So
I'm going to come in and give some unhinged votes from now on.
has no ramifications. So, I just thought he was big in helping out the other two defenders who were stuck on Curnow and Mackay. So,
Yes.
I think he's such a useful height and size type of player for us to have in defence when we're a bit undermanned. Like initially, Butts looked like he was about to have an absolute mare against Mackay.
Yes.
Without any extra help, that might have happened. So,
Yep. Sam, who have you got?
I'm just going to give it to Keane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because someone in the chat's calling for it? Or?
Yeah. Well, no. It's who I would like to give it to, and I think it's hard because like someone did say in the chat about the defenders not getting a lot of love, and our defense is probably by name one of the weakest in the competition, yet just keeps doing the job. So it's even gets mixed around and still seems to be able to perform. So and up against Carlton, who everyone would probably say theirs is the best forward line. So yeah, it's fantastic what they're doing back there.
Agree.
Fantastic. Well, I've given the Tyson Edwards Quiet Achiever to Luke Nankervis this week because thought he earned it. It was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Another
and
worthy.
I think everyone going different shows how much of a team performance it was.
Absolutely
That's
a
what it
team
was.
performance. It
Yeah.
was fantastic. And
Yeah.
I hope we can back it up again this week against the Dons.
Yeah.
Sheep stations or whatever.
Station. Oh yeah, that's what Dean says.
Anyway, good to hear from you guys. Good to see that you called the phone. Turning off live and interactive
Oh
now.
no, guys, come on. Nah, it's good. The chat's good.
Cool.
I'm happy with it, and we can't forget our the voicemails we've got too.
Yes, which we will play later on. Oh, should we do Pete's Pizzas now?
We can do Pete's Pizzas.
Ooh. I feel like seeing as we've talked about the game, it makes sense.
Yeah,
They might actually edible this week.
maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, it's the first time we got
that's-
positive pizzas.
Yes, I know. We might actually have
Ooh.
appealing ones.
Yeah, we haven't listened to these.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, these will be all Pete's favourite pizzas, I reckon. we get a look into Pete.
Yes.
Yeah.
His preferences.
Does Pete like pineapple?
Yeah, good
Yeah,
question.
true. He might be
Controversial.
out of the pod if he does. Nah, controversial. Oh no, you need to connect it up, Lauren.
It is connected. I
Oh.
don't know why it's not working. Stupid piece of shit.
Whatever will we do against that Essendon Edge, Young Bean
Oh,
says.
yes.
Essendon Edge, what a joke that
Scary.
is. Yeah.
It's almost as good as the orange tsunami.
Essendon are anyway, we'll talk about them later. Yeah.
All right, we're on here.
Making it early, making it right.
Hi everyone, welcome again to Pete's Pizzas. Thanks again to the Here We Crow crew for giving us all a platform to celebrate together. So I'm going to give you 3 takeaways to chew on after an incredibly exciting win over Carlton. First up, I'm talking about shape. Matthew Nicks has been trying to find the right shapes. He's been trying chicken crimpies, pulling out the barbecue shapes, but the players didn't know what he was talking about until finally he got the right ones. Yep, he finally realised the right kind of shapes are, you guessed it, pizza shapes. Next up is the compromising half and half pizza. You're too tight to buy 2 different pizzas, so you think, nah, let's just get half a capriciosa and half a ham and pineapple. But you regret it as soon as you see it. We've got a fantastic half a team with brilliant kids like Nankervis, Rankin, Cook, Saligo, Berry, Keane, Rochelle, Hinge, Max, Worrell. But we also have half a team that butchers the ball and makes dumb decisions. Thank goodness Nick's finally relented and let the skillful kids play in the middle with the fast footy. And we all know they are the reason why we won this game against Carlton. And lastly, it's the very special Vang Vieng Happy Pizza, which is not easy to find, but I'm told you feel very happy after you eat it thanks to some very special toppings. And that's how we felt after we beat Carlton. So let's hope we can once again enjoy the sweet taste of victory after our game against Essendon on Friday night. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome, Pete.
Thanks,
Well
Pete.
done, Pete.
Love
Not
that.
sure the TA kitchen's going to be able to cook up that last pizza
No.
that you mentioned,
No.
but
And I liked his ragging on pineapple too, so that's good. Because I'm assuming the pineapple pizza was the old stages. No
it's
good.
a controversial opinion.
I like
Yeah,
it,
we
Pete.
also
I'm on board.
stretch the definition of pizza to pizza shapes.
Yeah,
That one as well.
and they've copped a bit of hate in the chat too. Party Magic. So boo
Oh.
pizza shapes, crimpy all the way.
Yeah,
Wow.
the
And
shape.
84 pizza. Oh, is 84 Boise? I think it is. I should probably
is.
shouldn't say that.
The shapes,
Pizza shapes
the
are neat.
shapes discussion, I will say, is a big topic in the Adelaide FC Discord server. It comes up pretty much once a month, and we have the same argument every time. Please declare your favourite shapes flavour, Kate.
Oh, look, I think it might be Vegemite.
But
Oh, well, no, Tom said that in the chat. He said
Vegemite's
Vegemite's are
disgusting.
his
Nice one.
too.
I don't like most Vegemite flavored things,
That
but I
one you can
do
get
like.
around.
Yep, I
I
can.
can't say I've tried it, and I never will. Sam,
Yeah, I've never tried
I'm bringing
Vegemite
them
ones
next
either.
time. I come.
I still won't try them. I'll eat all your peanut butter biscuits, but I'm not trying the Vegemite shapes.
I'm just going to say pizza because I don't really eat shapes.
Yeah.
So they're the only ones I've really eaten.
Ben,
I think they're all much of a muchness to me. I don't mind a bit of barbecue pizza or chicken crimpy. I think the kids like barbecue the most. They call them spicy biscuits.
yeah,
I feel like all of
spicy biscuits.
this is all going to be the most controversial things anyone's ever said on Here We Crow. I
Yeah,
think.
with-
Look,
numbers will dwindle.
I actually had. I'll tell you a secret. I actually had my first packet of chicken crimpy on the weekend, and they are just Dixie drumsticks.
Yeah, they are.
That's all it
Yeah.
is.
They've just been rebranded.
So-
haven't they? It's the same thing.
What I'm going to say to that is chicken crimpy can't be the best because they're just Dixie drumsticks, and Dixie drumsticks rule. So obviously, you can't just have one best shapes flavor because you buy pizza and barbecue at the same time. Are you telling me, people, that you go home with just a box of pizza shapes without the barbecue? What? You have to buy 2 packets.
Let's get even more people angry. Do you guys like pods? I think pods are awful.
I like pods, but I don't buy them.
Yeah.
I don't rate them. Like if they're there, I'll eat them.
Yeah. Okay.
But I would not go out of my way to buy them.
I just don't understand why they're so popular. People
Yeah.
absolutely love them.
They're pretty good. Like, they are very Moorish.
I feel like
Okay.
there was a Crows like social media
Yes,
thing
it was the
about
movie snack.
snacks, and a lot of them said pods, which I thought was so random.
I thought that was weird too. That's
Yeah.
not a thing that I would ever get at the movies.
Are we showing our age again, Lauren? Is that
Maybe.
a young person? Are pods a young person's game?
They
these
must be,
days?
but I have enjoyed a bag or 5 of them before.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I'll eat
The
them if
Mars
they're
ones
around.
are good. The Mars ones are good.
Aaron's in the chat. Wonder what time it is in
Oh,
Iowa.
Aaron.
Thanks for dropping the. He's left to say his voice message, so that's
Good
so
on
we
him.
can't
Oh,
forget
excellent.
that. Done a late one. Also, Ben Claire's in the chat. Said compliment to Ben's garden. Ben's homegrown apples in a pie. Delicious. Hope there is still some left for you, Dad. Henry gives it 9.9 out of 10.
Yeah, right.
Oh, what's
I
the
love
point
that.
one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Got high standards.
Don't know.
Must be the crust.
Yeah. So, okay. So the pie did get made. That's good. We picked the apples on the weekend from the garden.
Lovely.
Oh, so you didn't know that the pie was made? Because I was thinking Kate's bought beautiful cookies and you've bought no pie.
No, the pie was theoretically being made yesterday and it didn't happen.
Oh, okay, right.
Long story short, we were knackered after a misadventure to Mount Barker with 2 children that were unhelpful.
Yeah.
Jackson
Just gear
says,
Sam up for his future.
No pie energy there.
No pie energy.
I enjoy Jackson's response to pods. Price to enjoyment ratio is off.
Oh, yes. They are everything like
Yeah.
that is expensive. Why is it $9 for a big bag of M&Ms these days?
Oh, yeah.
$9?
I know.
What the
You
hell?
used to be able to buy those tubs, the plastic tubs for that price.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
now they're like $15. You
Yeah.
might as well just buy that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we should move on.
Yeah.
You've got a segment. Do you want to do
I
that?
think realistically, if we could wrap this up, I've got apple pie to get to. So.
Actually, I've got I've literally not done goods and bads. Sorry, everybody. So let's not do my segment.
Oh, for God's sake.
Unless other people have got
I've got a
some.
good.
Yeah, we can do that.
My good.
My name's Tim the Wonder Dog.
That's not the
Big
right
excuse
stinger.
this week, surely, Sam.
Sorry?
If ever there was a week where you weren't allowed to not be prepared.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, thanks,
If you want
Kate.
to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
My good is that I spent yesterday on the couch being hungover watching No Doubt perform for the first time in like 9 years on the Coachella live stream. And look, I didn't know what to expect because notoriously Gwen Stefani isn't that amazing of a live performer. But I tell you what, they played one of the most banging set lists. They played lots of old proper ska songs.
Oh, wow.
Gwen took a few songs to warm up the vocal cords, but damn, what a set. It was amazing.
Awesome.
If they come to Australia, I'm going to have to go now. That's annoying.
Sounds awesome.
And shock horror, the anime 3D artist was shit. Can't believe it.
Yeah, I did read about that, but I didn't know that was a thing. So I missed that set.
Yeah.
I did see Black Country New Road.
Oh, yeah. How are they without the singer?
Not as good.
Yeah, I worry
Not
about
as
it.
good.
Last album was just so good, and then
I mean, it was fine.
he
But
just brings so much emotion. I've seen a bit of live stuff where the lady on piano sings quite a bit, and it was fine, but doesn't quite have the same hit. Does
still
it?
a great band, but
Yeah.
it didn't hit as much as I thought it would. I also watched
Grimes.
Blur.
Boise asked about Grimes.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
Grimes
Apparently
thing
she
was
terrible.
well, I feel for Grimes. Look, Grimes clearly Grimes has people doing a lot of work on her behalf. So she's not loading her own music onto her USBs, people. Like, let's be
Yeah.
real. She's not doing that.
No.
So whoever did that fucked it up.
Yeah.
And she couldn't work out what she was doing. She couldn't mix her songs. All the tempos were out.
Yeah,
Look,
Elon touched her and ruined it.
look,
If
probably.
you're wondering, Henry, she stuffed it up.
Stuffed it up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Henry is still watching because I got a I'm hurt dad message in the chat too.
Oh,
So
no.
sorry, Lauren's
Is
being
hurt?
a potty mouth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not reading the chat. But I also watched Blur, and look, I love Blur. They're an amazing band, and they've got a Coachella set an hour long isn't long enough for them to deliver an amazing time. But I'll tell you what, they were performing to people who had no fucking clue who they were.
Oh, wow.
And
That's had no idea.
effing. And it was Damon was not happy.
No.
He was not happy about it.
Yeah.
There was no. He was really trying to get the crowd to interact, and they didn't want a bar of it. It was quite depressing. So anyway, that's on next weekend too. If you want to check that out for the second time,
Have you listened to Dead, the band called Dead?
a little bit, yeah.
Their new album coming out soon. The singles they've released are very good, so that can be
Okay.
my good this week.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Don't have any bads.
Oh, what could we find? No, I don't think so.
I know. Well, your weekend's just been too nice.
I've had a positive weekend,
Yeah.
really. I've also had some good food, like the dodgy cafe at Flinders. Some bad food there. I had a chicken burger and chips there yesterday. It was quite good. Yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
I've got a prospective, hopefully good.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, Henry's going down to the Train Like a Crow
Oh,
school holiday event. So it's
Yes.
a 2-hour
Awesome.
thing down at Westlakes. I'm not sure who he'll be with, but
Mm.
he's there.
Are players
there?
there?
The description loosely describes being able to train with some Crows players.
Okay.
So I don't know how many or to what extent.
all
So
right. We'll send him down with some Here We Crow stickers and
yeah.
get him in the
Say-
Daddy Nick's shirt, maybe.
Yeah.
Send him down with a microphone to do some interviewing.
see how he goes with that tomorrow.
You
Good
could
luck, Henry.
just volunteer him up with the digital team, and maybe he can have his own video.
Well, actually, if we want it bad, it was actually said it was on the 16th of this month on the Wednesday, which is the day I have off. 16th is tomorrow, which is a Tuesday.
Yes.
So after I'd purchased it, it was a Tuesday event, not a Wednesday event. So I can't take him, which just is what it is, but I'll hopefully be able to get across there after work and see how he goes.
Have sus.
Cool.
Well, go Henry.
Exciting. Yeah, go Henry.
What's next? We
Dog
do it.
act.
We actually do. You actually made one.
Dog act.
Ooh.
Nice.
Dog act. Whoops. I was like waiting for Dan to do it. Dan's
Yeah,
not
I
here, man. Look, dog act this week. It was hard to pick a particular dog act, but obviously Matt Crouch has been suspended for one match for his hard to the contest bump.
I'm happy with him getting suspended.
Look, I think we all knew that was going to be a week.
Not happy, but I'm not surprised.
Look, the dog act is that Zach Butters has gotten off for pretty much the exact same action.
Yeah.
So, look, we're cool with Matt Crouch getting a suspension 1 week. That's fine. But, are you really not going to penalise Butters? Sorry, that is a dog act.
Yeah, there's. Oh, sorry, you probably want to.
No, we can talk about it.
Well, I think sped up, it looks like Crouch is, he's makes more obvious impact.
Yeah.
Whereas Crouch, Butters in real sped up, it looks like it's a glancing blow. But when there's one particular angle where you see, he has collected him
Yeah.
fair and square in the face.
That footage that came out today makes the Butters one look a lot worse than the other angle did. So, yeah, I can't work it out. It's just strange to me.
Kane on the Sunday footy show was trying to sort of say it was all about intent, that Butters was intent on the ball and Crouch wasn't.
Well, yeah, that's great intent by Crouch getting the ball.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Butters going past the ball.
Yeah.
Also, I think the argument is that Crouch didn't have two hands going down to the ball. But when you look at the action, the reason why he doesn't have two hands going down to the ball is because the ball has actually moved away from the player. And so he can't put his hands down because the ball's not where he needed it to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a silly one, but I think, we know what's coming with hits like that, unfortunately, at the moment.
Let's be honest. It's Butters is up for Brownlow. It's the old Cochrane rule. You don't want to rub someone out that might affect things later on in the year, or a premiership or a grand final appearance.
Yeah, let's avoid that controversy with this controversy.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So yeah, very.
I think when it's two Adelaide teams, they feel like they can sweep that away pretty quickly.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a true dog act. If the action is the same in slow motion, frame by frame, shouldn't Butters get a game? Dog act.
Nice.
Well done.
That was last minute too. I like that. Yeah. I liked how you went really slowly too. You just sort of got it out there.
Yeah, I was.
Now that we're live, it's a bit more pressure.
After the last few times, I was like, breathe, girl, breathe.
Very good. Yeah.
Love it.
And I think, there was one other little thing I wanted to add to that. I think the difference, as much as they always tell us it's the action, not the result, where with that flip-flops every week, it is Banfield got up straight away and contested the ball, whereas the Carlton player played dead. So, that certainly would have worked against Crouch as well.
Yeah.
So, not ideal.
Slightly bigger player, Banfield. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. All right, what's next?
All right, what's next? Don't know. What are we doing? Social media?
Maybe just social media. Yeah.
Yes.
Out of bounds on the full.
Yes.
Do we still have Dean?
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Are we going to call him?
Yeah.
Should we do that now?
Yeah. I've got to text him actually. So we'll do that.
Whilst you're doing that, we do have some more comments in here. U Park. Who is U Parking Lot? Does anyone know who U Parking Lot is? They're in there every week. We should find out who you are. Lauren found her pace. That was good. Young Bean said, "You think they are looking to just give Berry a full game and just accepted the suspension?" We always just that's not true. We did fight McKay's one a few years ago, but we generally just seem to cop it when we do these things or we get these sanctions. So maybe I'm assuming, it's a very much a like for like.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that we thought we could get Crouch off. It's more why is not the same incident being.
Yeah, that's right. Aaron said he usually listens to these pods at 1.3 speed and can almost never understand the dog acts. Glad to hear one proper now. That's great. Yeah.
All right, we're going to get our Nuffy on the phone.
Yeah, let's do it. Should we play the song while you're calling him?
Yeah.
All right.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Yes, that's right. We have our very frequent Essendon supporter.
He's very mouthy on Twitter,
Nuffy.
isn't he?
Yeah, he
Is he on? I'm not sure.
Mouthy.
Hi, Dean.
It is Dino. Welcome back, Dino.
You guys, you've been going on too long with all the exciting Ned McHenry chat, have you? I just worked out this is what, the third year we've done this. Dan's missed 2 of these, so so basically his disposal efficiency is as good as Ned's.
Very good.
Good point. Dino, let's talk about the Dons. You've had an interesting couple of weeks. How are you feeling about the Bombers season so far?
Well, we're on a lovely win schedule. So if that goes to plan, then you'll get up this weekend.
Good news.
you guys are on, I don't know, was it loss, win?
All right. Okay, Dean.
No, I think that's 4 wins coming up.
Well, that's what who knows? You could it could have been the kickstart to your season last week.
What went wrong against the Dogs, mate?
What went wrong against the Dogs?
Wait, you guys won nothing. I was reading the scores backwards.
I don't know. I thought we did all right.
What I should ask is what went wrong against Port? Yeah. Because that was a big smashing.
Oh, everything went wrong. I very rarely leave a game early, and you go, guys know how far I have to come home, and I had to drive and get back to the car. So I just pulled up stumps at 3/4 time. I was like, I can't punish myself anymore.
That's fair. Totally understandable.
I don't know. That was just horrendous. I think everything went wrong. It wasn't anything specific. I don't think it was just Port played really well after quarter time, and we just couldn't go with them. So a few changes on their side, and a lack of want or ability. I did read something online though where somebody had a look at a lot of the fanciful effort statistics and how far people ran and sprints and all this other kind of stuff. And all those stats were about the same. So it's just more, I think, an execution thing where Port got it right, we got it wrong. And it doesn't take long to be 10 goals behind in this league, unfortunately.
No.
That's it.
So what is the difference with your team? Is it someone like Stringer performing well that's the difference between you looking pretty crap and looking pretty good?
No, I think we need to get it right in the middle. Yeah. Is what makes us look good. So if you contrast the Port game against how we went against the Dogs, we did probably 2 things right. We had 2 young kids play a bit of a nullifying role on Libba and Bont, and you're never going to stop those 2 guys completely. But if you can reduce their effective output by enough, then that sort of has a trickle-on effect for the rest of the team. And so you had our guys like Durham and it's a GWS guy, Caldwell, basically running with those 2 guys for the whole game, and effectively sort of nullified their output. So the offset of that is that we got pretty good look at it in the middle. We were able to get it to our guys, and funnily enough, we decided that the kick it long in hope that somebody takes a mark game plan went out the window, and we actually, funnily enough, we actually kicked it to people. And I don't know, that seems revolutionary, really, doesn't it? Because it happens to work. I mean, similar to you guys on the weekend, you didn't. There wasn't a lot of bombing it in long for you guys on the weekend. You were pretty accurate too, I think.
Yeah, very
hitting targets. Big Tex was up and about.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you? Oh, sorry, Ben, you go.
Oh no, I was just going to say there's been a lot of talk about edging Are you pro or anti this approach / messaging?
Depends on your mood, I guess.
Now, Henry, what that means is
I'm comfortable that's going to fly high enough above.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the media are going to get a pretty good run out of that for most of the year.
Yeah. Don't you hate it? We've been prone to dishing out a little bit of pre-season chat like that in the past, I reckon. And it's so annoying when it just gets used in every time you lose, it's like, oh, let's bring that up. That's Port have done it too, haven't they, with their creed and shit? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, everybody gets, I think it sort of goes around, everybody gets on it. What was it? Was it a decade ago, and everybody had to smell what the Blues were cooking?
Oh, yeah.
Like a whole bunch of
Yeah, that was so good.
I think everybody got a fair good go at that one.
Yeah. How do you feel about your coach, Dean?
Oh, good. He's not any better or any worse than anyone we've had in the last couple of goes. I don't know. I guess last year was his first year. He didn't, he came in essentially last minute, so he really got no say on much of the recruiting or anything like that. I guess it's hard to tell how much influence coaches get on the recruiting because teams have these big recruiting teams. Unless you're Essendon, and then you've just got Dodoro, who just makes all the calls. Yeah. But how much do they really get to have a say? Because you've got a team of people who try and build that team, and then the coach does the coaching. So this year, I guess he's probably been able to have a look at and then have some influence on that. But, same old story like a lot of other teams who are just making this big go about wanting to play our way and play this system and things like that. Mm-hmm. And apparently the other night against the Dogs, that's more about how we want to play, which would be nice.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're just prone to having games like the week before against Port Adelaide about 3 or 4 times a year where we get absolutely belted where things just don't go right. But it would probably help us a lot more too if we had Ridley on the park and Wright on the park. And I'm not really fussed about Dylan Shield, whether he plays or not. But, they're probably two of your bookend players. It always helps to have those guys on the park.
Yeah, absolutely. How happy are you paying Ben Mackay? How much money are you paying him? Is he been all right? I haven't watched enough Essendon to probably gauge how that's going.
I think once again, he's got to work his way into... He's done his whole pre-season with 5 other guys and 3 of them are injured. So he's sort of making it. So for him, it's probably, just like being at North Melbourne. He's finding his way, and I think he's been serviceable so far. He's had a pretty good game. He hasn't, I think we've had to play any of the teams with like massive big forwards yet. We haven't had to play Geelong yet, and some of the other guys. And the Western Bulldogs forwards aren't anything like Hawkins and stuff like that. So I think we've got those sort of games coming up.
You're pretty lucky Burgess isn't probably playing this weekend.
Oh, look, mate! I was stressing. I see that Daddy Nix, got relieved of his duty of having to drop Matty Kraut. So, look, we're not going to contest that. Don't worry about it, boys. Just move on to next week.
Yeah. Someone's mentioned that in the chat that we might have just copped that one.
give him. But all in all, though, a couple of games I've seen of yours, Matt hasn't been that bad. His job is to get the ball in the middle and try and get it to people on the outside, and that just hasn't been working right. He's been getting the football, but getting it to where it needs to go hasn't been helping much, has it?
No, definitely not.
And a player like Nick Martin, so he's got a fairly loose, unaccountable sort of role in defence. Do you think it's been good for the team, or do you think the possessions don't mean as much?
I don't think possessions mean as much to most people who are playing that sort of role. I guess he's been moved down there to effectively be our distributor out of the back half because he's pretty good, moving the footy around by foot. If you saw any of the game on the weekend, funnily enough, his best work's obviously in the forward half where he's played the last few years. But if you have a look when he gets it over the halfway line, because he can sort of play that role where he can go up and about, he's fantastic at putting the ball inside 50 and hitting a target the majority of the time. So it's obviously a little bit different coming out of the back half where he's tried to pinpoint some stuff and it hasn't quite come off. But it's his
he seemed to have
first year in that role and 5 rounds. So
low worm burners when he's really been trying to hit a difficult target.
yeah, he's not the only one in our team for some reason. I'm not sure why. Half the guys can't bend over as it is, so I don't know why you'd want to be kicking it that low.
Yeah.
But he's been. I think he's been pretty good down there. He's learning the defensive sort of caper per se, and once again, probably hasn't helped where he's been doing a whole preseason training with guys like Ridley and Baldwin and now I can't remember the name of the other guy who's out injured at the minute. Reed. He's been doing his whole preseason down there with those guys, and then they're not playing. So, we're sort of piecing it together at the minute. But it hasn't been bad. There's been worse people, I guess.
He's been a fantastic fantasy pick. So.
Ben's just getting worried because he kicked a goal on the weekend and only had 85 fantasy points. He's just wondering.
Drop down a bit, but no, he'll still get his defender status, and that'll be very nice.
Yeah. Once he gets that, then he'll be fine. Then you can move him around, and you'll be able to bring somebody else in the forward line.
Midfield.
Yeah.
Now, Dean, last time we played the Bombers, it basically ruined our chances at finals because
it ruined my life.
What we thought was going to be a pretty easy matchup ended up that Essendon decided to completely play out of their skin like it was a grand final.
1 week only.
For 1 week only against the Crows. Now, is it going to be a repeat of history this Friday night? It's a blockbuster game, Adelaide Oval.
Well, it has to be Friday night prime time. We're both going, super well. So it's the kind of game that, the nation would love to be seeing on a Friday night. Can't we just go back to Sunday for Can't I just have Sunday, 1:30 game or something like that? Where people are busy doing something else, like long lunch or something. That'd be nice.
We do excel at the Mother's Day slot.
Yeah, that is true.
So, because I think then we've got a short turnaround because we've got, I think, Anzac Day's on the Thursday this year.
Of course.
Next week. So that's probably why we've got they could have given us the Thursday night game, really, couldn't they? But anyway. If we can both play like we played last weekend, we'll get a good game. But given how up and down our teams are, it's probably more likely that one team's going to play and one team's not.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And it's probably 50-50. I mean, you guys haven't been I don't think you guys have been as bad as Norton 4. I think, a lot of your stuff's been execution based and things like that.
That's not what you say on Twitter, mate.
He has no answer to that.
I'm trying to be politically correct. Don't have to be there. Don't have to be on Twitter.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Tom asks, is there a caddy debut maybe happening on the weekend?
I don't know. They took him out of a game because he had a broken tooth. So 2 weeks ago. So if that's how our medical team works, no, I don't think he's getting.
No,
might be a fingernail in trouble this week, mate.
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, no, I don't think he'll get a game this week. I wouldn't think our guys have gone all right based on last week, and our coaches probably be like your coach, where we just back the boys in.
Some would say that medical treatment was better than Liberatores on the weekend.
The ankle.
I don't know what's going on there. That didn't look good, did it?
No, it didn't at all.
I'd like to question why they're not being scrutinised more like Port were when they copped that fine for that sort of behaviour.
What was their fine? 50 grand or 100 grand and 50 of it got suspended or something like that?
Yeah, it was pretty hefty. Yeah, not that I've been reliably informed that clubs don't actually pay any of those fines. They just go into a spreadsheet and that's where they stay. But yeah, pretty much. Vardy Magic also says we haven't beaten Essendon in the Knicks era. Is that true? It doesn't surprise me actually because we were so shit there for a while.
I think that's probably right because I think what are the odds we've won 9 of the last 10?
Yeah,
and the one that you won was just before he took over.
Okay, yeah, Yive says since 2017. So yeah, I haven't done any history stats on this. Have you done history stats on this? No.
No.
I think it's 9 out. I think it's 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And the last one, was the year. But who was looking after you before he took over? Did you have a caretaker?
No,
it was Pike.
Yeah.
Pike. Yeah, that would probably be right.
Or was there?
That was Mark Bickley, wasn't it? For like 5 seconds.
When did Campo take? When did Campo take? When did Campo take over?
Was post Walshy passing. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Yeah, that's when Campo took
Yeah.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, don't ask us tough questions like that. We don't know that much.
We've tried to wipe the last 25 years from memory.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, it's
Trying to
been
get
tough.
back there again.
Yeah.
Well, I think this year's been tough. I don't. This year's been weird. I don't know whether you guys touched on many of the other games from this round, but this round was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Tipster's nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, I think for most people who tipped, in my league, most people who tipped got 4 out of the 8. If you didn't tip, I think you would have got 4 out of the 8 because 4 of the away teams won anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So you really, you got lucky if you picked a roughie or, So I think there was one guy at my work who's been tipping crows all year and he went, stuff it, I'm off him.
Can you please ask him not to tip us this week?
Yeah.
I almost did the same, and I talked myself out of it. I was like, no, have some faith, Lauren.
Stay strong.
Well,
I did.
All right,
Yeah.
it's time for
Yeah.
the Dennis.
Time.
Dean, you know all about this.
Give the kick to Dennis. So we're right behind him, and the Carlton fans are right behind him. Once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, look at that.
Yes! He's the Master Blaster.
The Master Blaster, Dean. Who's going to rip it up? Who maybe hasn't been performing or hasn't performed yet for you guys this year?
Who's been given a bake this week? Parish. Parish.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, he hasn't been at his best, I don't think. So
He only gets up for medal games, doesn't he?
or contract years, That's why Jake's playing out of his skin, I think.
Yeah. Okay. We had a comment in our chat about hoping that Essendon gives Stringer a contract this week. So
him and Jonesy are going pretty well at the minute, given that they're playing for the money. So I think Parish has been sort of because he missed that first couple of games with an injury. So I think he's just been working his way back in, and he's due for a decent game, not just disposal-wise, but actually impact-wise. So he's actually due for a decent game. I think he's been given a bit of a bake in the media and stuff about being a bit lazy on the run back, but that's standard midfielder, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll have him as having a game.
For me, I reckon a bag could be coming Jade Gresham's way.
Oh, that'll be annoying. Yeah.
So
That'll be very annoying.
hopefully
He's
not.
been up. He's weird. He's had good packers in games, I think. But once again, he's six games in or 5 games into a new team, so
Well,
sort of
just-
working
just
his way
watch
through.
him find his straps this weekend.
But don't have anybody down back to put on him, or
Oh no, it's just the sort of player that comes from nowhere for it and against us. I don't know.
Tom said Gresham's got the best eyebrows in the league. And also,
I hadn't taken that into account, but I'm just stronger on my point now.
and also Joe Baby said Redmond hasn't been great. He'll probably turn it on this week, so that'll be interesting coming up against the
Mum and
us.
Dad might be up.
Yeah, that's right.
Mum and Dad might make the drive up to the game.
Yeah.
So depends. Who do you guys got coming in for Crouch? Do you think?
I'd say I don't think we're gonna debut anyone as much as we all would be hoping so. So I'd say probably a reshuffle as far as that, and we'll put someone sit someone in Rochelle's roles somewhere forward, I would imagine. But
you're bringing Murphy back in, aren't you?
oh, if that, please,
Still injured.
don't even
so
say it, Dean.
I think
Please.
it'd probably be.
That's exactly what Sam wants, but it's not happening.
I'd say they'll give Barry a full game, and then it's a
Yeah.
matter of whether
Yeah.
they change anything else, like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
who else
Yeah.
they bring in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pedler got to come back.
Yeah, he's potential.
Apparently, he
He's
did
not-
play mostly midfield on the weekend in the Sandford.
He did.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
So-
I didn't hear great things about his game. Not that
No.
I watched it, but
No,
people
this-
who
Well,
did.
it was mixed. He had 18 possessions and he tried all day, but then the coach also said there'd be a couple of things he'd like back. So it's
Right.
like, okay. So
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Sounds promising.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back working on things, is he?
Back working on
stuff.
things.
Well, they said
Yeah.
working on his midfield craft, and it's like, it wasn't that long ago you just force-fed forward craft into his game.
Oh.
And it's like, shouldn't we have just kept with the midfield craft?
Yeah. No, we know what's going on, Dean. Don't worry. We got it all sorted.
You got it all under control.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Tip time.
We should tip. God, I feel like if we didn't win against Carlton, that we would just absolutely believe that we were going to lose this game.
Yeah.
But I feel like we might have some different thoughts on that.
We're going to win.
Dino, let's get your tip first.
Well, I was afraid that if you lost, that we'd be your first win of the year, and then that would be even more unbearable. So obviously we've got Carlton to thank for that. But I'd say that we're probably just going a bit better, and we will continue the domination, and we will win.
Okay.
Yeah. If this was in Melbourne, I would agree with you. I think being here, it swings it back in our favour. We play I think even if we played as good as we played against Melbourne, we'd probably beat Essendon here on Friday night. But I have no faith, unfortunately. I came in so positive this season, and they've let me down multiple times now. But I'm still gonna tip us by a couple of goals.
That went everywhere.
It did.
I was what? Where's your mind here?
Yeah.
Choose your own adventure. You should be we're top of the earth. We're jumping up and down, celebrating. Come on.
You got to. We both have to take what we can get. But like I said, we're on a win loss. So I don't know. Yeah. Anything could happen. Like, we're both very inconsistent at the moment. So I think it's more who can execute on the day. We'll get it done. Neither of us are. I don't think either of us are fantastic defensively at the minute. And that game on the weekend, I think, did we score 100 or just? That's like our best score for the year. So, neither of us are scoring anywhere near like we were last year. So let's hope it's a free-flowing game and we get some goals, and whoever wins, rather than both teams go into some lockdown bloody Paul Roos versus Ross Lyons show.
Yes, no thanks.
Agree.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, look, I think if we hadn't won last week, but we'd played the way we played, I would be thinking this might be our week, particularly because it's at home. And yeah, like you say, Essendon have been up and down. So yeah, I think I will tip the Crows if we can, continue to kind of build on what we've been working towards and what sort of came into fruition last weekend. But I'm not at all confident. I would not be surprised at all if we just got back in our shells really easily. So we'll see. Ben?
So we've been playing fairly differently to Essendon in terms of style. So they're 12th for contested possession, we're sitting at 4th. They're 5th for uncontested, we're sitting at 12th. So slightly different ways. I think we really need to control their spread. It was last year, their transition just absolutely killed us and made us look slow and terrible. So we can't allow that sort of free and easy ball movement. And I think probably against the Bulldogs, that probably helped for Essendon, because Bulldogs also are a bit uncontested and let the ball just fly around the place. So as much as you like a little shootout, we probably would do better if we don't just let the ball fly around from end to end. We're going to be in trouble if that happens. So having said that, I think surely we can have the intensity and confidence to be strong in defence, but we've found a way to actually be proactive with moving the ball forward. So if we can keep that going, I'm going to say, back to Mr. Over-positive 36-point win.
Oh,
Jesus. Way.
Very confident.
Well, I'm going to tip the Crows. I'm on the train. I'm on the hype train. I think we're going to win by, I'm going to say 14 points. I reckon it's going to be close still.
Yeah.
I think Essendon will bring it to us. But yeah, I think that our home crowd's just going to take us over the line, I feel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dino, for joining us once again on Here We Crow as our Essendon Nuffy. Obviously, we wish the worst for Essendon, but I hope you enjoy the game regardless. Are you getting along?
Yeah, I'll be there Friday night. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, you won't have Dan
thanks to the company for the freebies, so thank you.
No worries, mate. Thanks again, and we'll catch you soon, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. All the best.
Take care, mate.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Dean. All right, let's get to your social media. What's going on?
I've already paid the thing, haven't I?
Yeah.
We also need to do voicemails.
Yes. Oh, let's do that then.
Tom's reminded us, so we need to We need to do that.
Does that mean Tom left another one?
Yes.
Tom's just leaving voicemails all over the place. All right, here we go.
Sam Berry, the GOAT. He's the absolute GOAT, the greatest of all time. Sam Berry, once again, the GOAT.
There's short, sharp,
I
shiny.
like that one. That's good.
It's Tom here, and how bloody good was that? What a win. We're back. The Crows are bloody back. And it's off the back of our young players. It was so good to see a different mix in that midfield. Rankin getting most of the CBAs. He was outstanding. Oh, there's not really much to say, to be honest. It was a close game, tight game, bit of squeaky bum time happening. But we managed to pull through with a massive away win. I could not be happier. Couple slight concerns is probably Darcy Fogarty. He needs to get involved a bit more, I reckon. He's not cutting it lately. He's not been cutting it for the first couple of rounds that we've had, and I think it's a big concern for us. He's not getting involved either in the play high up the ground. I'm not sure if we need to start doing that. And again, probably Rochelle. Rochelle was on fire for the first half, playing much higher up the ground, and was actually involved in a lot of our chains, getting our ball movement down into inside 50. And then we decided to just sit him back deep again for the second half, and he basically only got like 2 touches. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Other than that, what a win. Hinge was also phenomenal. Hope we can back it up against Essendon next week. And also, congratulations to Sam and his partner. I hope it was a pretty good birth. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Tom. That's very nice of you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
We also had a text from Jaden, so I might read this out now because we know Jaden always brings us the goods. Let's see. All right, Jaden says, overall, solid game. Drive and intent was there this weekend. Thought the ball use was a lot cleaner, hitting up leads on angles time and again. Noticed we didn't drop off with it. We kept it for 4 quarters. Spread from the contest was a lot better also. Defenders given a license to drop off their man and impact key contests. That wasn't happening in previous weeks. Keys, defensive forward role, punished his man with 3 goals. Nankervis and Hamill, very good back there, good ball use. Jordan Butts, torn or pulled hamstring, 7 minutes 49 seconds left in second quarter. Non-contact, fell to ground, immediately grabbed top of Hammy, but played out the entire game. Deserves a recognition for that. Agree. And yes, we didn't actually mention that earlier, so I agree, Jaden. Fogarty's still not on it, trying to mark the ball with one hand or trying to take it on the chest, in the chest on a lead instead of out in the hands. Midfield, coaching staff staggered Laird and Crouch minutes. Crouch was mainly in there with Rankin, Saligo and Rob. Laird was mainly with Cook, Dawson and Rochelle, Rankin or Saligo. And obviously Lairdy with Rob at times too.
Nice.
Love it.
Cool, that wasn't just me then.
No. We've had a few tweets. Snowy, imagine waiting for that long to unlock rank. Not a question. Boise, live and interactive. The goods, winning on the road. That fucking clash Guernsey, especially against the Blues. I did actually say that. I was like, geez, they look good in that Guernsey.
Good. Yeah.
Final CBA with the game on the line was Bears, Rank and Solly. And then my boy, who's Cook, my boy's bullet pass to Rank, Mark and goal to kick off the comeback and the handy touch on the line. Also, love watching games at Marvel. Saw Kuda pre-game getting mobbed at Royal Stacks, and obviously that was straight off the back of his guest appearance on Here We Crow.
Yeah, nice.
Bozza has sent us 2-4, so I reckon he's tipping us this week, so we'll see what his selections are later. Vardy, did we win that game last Saturday without Matt Crouch? Rewatched the last quarter. It was his strength that got the ball out to Keys, who got it to Berry for the winning goal. It was Crouch who won the ball and fed Dawson in the dying seconds, releasing the skipper to hit Keys. I've had a few responses to that one. Maz says, I agree. After watching it, most underrated player and the most important midfielder, in my opinion, will be tough without him on Friday. Croster, who's Bonobobo, also said, I'm no expert, but rightly or wrongly, I get really annoyed at the complaints most weeks regarding his low metres gained. I'm not sure exactly how this is measured, but when I look at the metres gained by the player he farms off to, it seems to be a much greater number than credited to him. Someone said... Yeah,
it's an interesting point. That next possession is obviously crucially important. If Crouch is doing his job. Yeah.
That's right. Someone else, Rowan, said he was also the one who kicked to Rankin with 3 minutes to go, but just missed. Campbell says, not sure people realise how much we're going to miss Crouch on Friday. He gets a bad rap, but geez, he has a special set of skills. And Labs says, Crouch over Laird as our inside grunt mid, in my opinion. We can't afford both with big midfield minutes.
Yeah.
The synergy with Crouch, Sligo, Rank and Rochelle looks better than with Laird.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree.
And Vardy's agreed most of that. Says that Crouch is the ball winner extractor. The other end of that spectrum is someone like Smith, who often tops meters gained, but there's never much notice given to who wins the ball next once it's left his foot. And that is totally
the opposition
valid.
Goes out in the full. Instagram. Snowy's in here too.
Oh, yeah?
I was Isaac Cumming. Very mature there.
Oh, my God's sake.
Mark. Daniel Altman, massive W. I was shaking, but need to back it up or it means nothing. Completely agree with you. If we lose to Essendon, that win on the weekend meant absolutely nothing.
Felt good, but will mean nothing,
Yeah. Ashby. I drove over to be at that game. Fuck, I'm still pumped up the Camrys. And poorly drawn crows. Lauren to attend weddings every game day, please.
Honestly, I wish I could. But at my age, the weddings are drying up.
Yeah.
Not many people are getting married. All right, let's hear from Aaron from Iowa. We've got a message from him, a late entry.
Aaron here from Iowa, and I'm actually listening live to you guys because I just woke up to feed my son, but now dropping a voicemail. Hopefully you guys get it before you close it down, but happy thoughts. We did it. I know I called it, but it's not the way I thought the game would go, so I don't think it really counts all that much. I did not expect us to win that kind of shootout like that, but I joined about halfway through, or about 30 minutes into your guys' thing, so I don't know how much you talked about already. I just thought the big thing I noticed was, and I said this in the Discord, just shot selection and the ability to, we just changed, I don't know, like even last year when we were scoring a lot of points, we had a lot of long set shots, a lot of shots from general play, and this time, think about all the set shots we got, like 15, 20, 25 meters in front of goal, like literally just straight up in front of goal through keeping our eyes down and looking for the leads. And also I think just missing low sometimes, like instead of like, I don't know if it was an emphasis, but it felt like only like one or two kicks popped over someone's head instead of, if we missed, it kind of skipped on the ground and still kept the ball in play and gave our smalls a chance to get into it. I don't know if they completely ripped up the forward structure or what. I'm not footy aware enough to know that, but they certainly looked like they're flowing and flowing differently. They're free, everything like that. So, what a game. What a game. Good stuff. Love seeing the rotation in the midfield, especially in the center bounce there. I think that really not only just helps provide more pop, but kind of keeps everyone from being too stale. It kind of keeps everyone doing something different and making them think about the game instead of just kind of like settling into what they think their automatic options are. So anyway, I'll stop here. Go Crows. Love you guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Aaron.
Always, yeah. His voicemails are always just
always very insightful.
Now, and he called it too. He needs to claim that.
He did call it.
He did call it.
Called it last week.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Bozza.
Bozza. Is Bozza going to be happy, you reckon?
I reckon Bozza's going to be pretty happy. I don't know how many selections he's got this week. Like, he had 8 last week, so he might have cut that down a little bit. Let's see what he says.
Good evening, everyone. Up and about in the sauna.
Hey.
Just come back from a run. 79 degrees in here at the moment, so let's hurry up and get it done, can we? Shall we?
Let's do it. It's warm.
Yeah.
Finally got a win on the board. Congrats all around. Everyone was good, except for a couple. 2 out. Ned and Crouch, unfortunately, after his best game for the year. Ned onto the subs bench and Berry into the team, unless Butts or doesn't come up. I'd keep Gallant as the second ruck. Thought he rucked very well, and everything went pretty smooth. So Don's at home. Need to win. Keep the momentum going. Thanks, guys. Speak to you next week.
So if Crouch is all the way out, does that mean there needs to be a replacement player from not in the team?
I think so. Yes.
Because Ned was already in the team going to a sub.
Yeah.
So then they still need an extra player.
Yeah.
So
Boz needs to give us Boz needs to give us a debutant.
yeah, I'm surprised he didn't. He's just too thrilled that Cook's in.
Yeah.
That's all he ever wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like it does make sense that they will just throw Pedler in, but I kind of hope they don't. But I also don't want them to debut anyone in a sub role. So it's hard.
Yeah, it is tricky.
I completely agree with Ned coming out though. His missed goal was a shocker. Aaron says, say Rob Bozza nearly cost us the game with horrid stoppage work. And I completely agree.
I do want to say that after last week when we were whinging about Rob's contested marks, he did take one very crucial contested mark that we really needed at the perfect time.
He came very close to doubling his season marks for the.
Yeah, he had 3. He hit his season high.
He also didn't take a mark in front of Taylor Walker, who would have taken it if he'd just left it for him at one point. So I know that might null out that other good mark.
Yeah, still not a fan at all. Actually, Bozza brought up a really good point though, and I agree with him on Twitter about this as well. I really liked Gollant's game as well. I thought he was great. He didn't get a ton of the ball, but I just like the way that he just hits every contest that he can possibly get to. So he'll just come flying in from anywhere with complete lack of care for his own body and make sure he affects the contest. I like what he does.
He's also got good vision because that mark that Keys took in front of him where Keys was coming back with the flight of the ball.
Yeah.
And, any other week that would have been 2 of our players taking each other out with a spoiled mark. But, Gallant had the IQ to go, oh, no, he's grabbing that one, leave it alone.
I feel like everyone was looking at me because I called him Gallant again. Is that correct? No?
No, I was just
looking in your direction.
I was actually just thinking that's what you've just said about Gallant is sometimes what I appreciate about the Murphys and the McHenrys of the world. So I'm interested to know why that's.
Yeah,
I think he's more reliably skillful probably when he does have the ball in his hands.
It's a very fair comment.
But yeah, that's what I was just sort of thinking as you were saying that.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very fair comment. I guess I would look at it being like Gallant being a tall player, not necessarily relying on skill and using his size more, whereas a Murphy, you just kind of need him.
Skill's kind of what he's got.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what he needs. That, yeah. So, like, that would be it's a good question because, and I think, calling out people for just ragging on a player for one thing and then forgiving it with another is a very fair.
I'm calling you out. I'm just interested.
No.
And I think that's it. Like, size is a weapon in this game. So that's what you're saying is when you're small, you have to rely on those other skills to be really good. Whereas if you've got size as part of your weapons, that can kind of compensate for that a little bit.
I know plenty better players than Ned miss goals like he missed on the weekend, but you just got to, like, that sort of kick you just have to make as a player in his position.
Totally. I agree.
Yeah.
And I think Gallant, a bit like what we said about Fogg, he's got an important role to make sure a defender follows him and doesn't get in the way of the other forwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
He needs to look dangerous enough to clear out our forward line.
Yeah, and I admire, Lockie for coming in, often getting subbed out when we want some more speed, getting dropped, to just mentally still really give it your all is, definitely to be admired. I think he's got a lot of upside.
And don't forget his most crucial role, which is keeping Dragon out of the side. So,
oh yes. I was just thinking about our season as a whole, and we were saying before, like we need to win this week or last week means nothing, and I don't think that's quite the case. I think we need to play full quarters of football or last week means nothing. I think, again, I'm still a bit, especially against Essendon, who aren't completely shit. They're just, inconsistent like us. I really do feel like if I see 4 quarters of footy, I'm okay with however it kind of pans out. I mean, obviously, I'd rather have a win. But I was saying that at 3/4 time. If we can keep up 4 quarters of footy, I'm happy. I don't care about the result. And, I think I'll be more disappointed if we don't put in 4 quarters of footy and kind of snatch it, because again, I think that then takes some pressure off that we might need. So, I'm just wondering, like, looking back at the teams that we have lost to, I was just looking at that today because I think that we've lost to teams. They're all in the 8. At round 5. The ladder doesn't still quite mean a lot because it's still a bit out of whack.
Yeah.
But yeah, and really, except for Fremantle, we haven't got smashed, and that is a hard game this season, Fremantle. So yeah, I kind of am wondering where you guys are thinking we're at, looking back at how we've played, having had a lot of, I think steady improvement in sort of putting our game back together and getting it going, which we managed to, and we got a win last week away, a close win away, which is almost a step forward from last year instead of being behind. So yeah, I'm just kind of, with all that in the balance, where are we really at? Do we feel?
Is Mavis back? This is a bit too happy, I would have thought. No.
I reckon.
Oh no, I keep getting compared to Mavis.
I reckon the Melbourne game, I think, while we didn't win it, was a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
We didn't do it for the whole game, but we started showing some more method with how we took the ball forward. We just couldn't keep it up and bombed when we got nervous. But and then Carlton, I don't think the weekend, as I said, Carlton had every chance to win that game. It wasn't a faultless game by us. So I think it was again a really good positive step forwards. What I'd hope is that we continue to improve. So I think if we can improve and continue to play like we did that last game, we should be able to beat Essendon.
Yeah.
It's not a given that we will.
No.
We have a history of doing something really well and getting a bit too comfortable.
Yes.
So
We were doing that still last year.
Oh, yes, definitely.
We've got monkey off our back, they're talking, but we need to still use that confidence in a positive manner, not the pressure's off.
Overconfident.
I hear what you're saying, Ben, but I feel like they're not quite at that level yet. I feel like they're going to go with this momentum. I'm pretty confident that they're going to win this week. But what I'm not confident for is the showdown. And so we've got Bombers this week. Then we've got North Melbourne in Tasmania, which I know, again,
shudders.
Mostly a bogey round for us, but I think North are terrible right now, so I feel like we can probably get that one.
Maybe.
It's, well,
if we
come on, Ben. Come on, Ben.
You weren't there with me.
We can get over that. But then the showdown, that is the big worry, and I think the actual true test of where we're at.
Yeah.
That is going to be a really tough game. If we can, I don't think we'll beat Port in the showdown. If we can at least keep up with their pace, then that is a very good look at where we're at as a team, I think. So give it a few more weeks. Hopefully we get up this week. Otherwise, I'm going to be eating my hat next week.
I think for me, overall, I think we're not as good as I thought we were coming into the first round.
Yes.
But I don't think we're as bad as we felt we were after the 4-0.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the best answer to what Kate said. So and I agree with you as well. I think there was definitely a lot of overreactions, including by myself.
Me too.
And I'm not saying that in a sense of this win fixes everything, because I still think we were pretty bad for a fair portion of that game on the weekend. It was just lovely to finally get a result, but. Yeah, the next few weeks are going to be the test, and if we have turned things around, the biggest criticism of the first few rounds was just how poor we looked and how boring we looked, and not playing to what looks like our strengths.
Well,
So
it's just so nice to hit 100 points again.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually kick some goals
and kick straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I definitely still agree that it's how we go about it is the most important thing. Sort of resign myself from my pre-season, expectations that finals is not a given at all. Not that I thought it was a given, but I thought we'd be in the mix, and we might still, but that's kind of not important to me anymore. I think it's really about building, having that flair, getting the kids more experience, and sort of really solidifying all of that in a way where we can start next season in a consistent way. Like the last 2 seasons, we've just dropped our bundles at the start of a season. So I really want to see us build and maintain. That's what I'm hoping for.
Agreed. We done?
Yep. We're done.
Excellent.
Thanks.
One last thing. Just obviously everyone's very excited. It's the grand final rematch this week.
Well, we said fantasy was earlier. That is it.
You and Collective.
You're talking about
you and Collective Mids.
We're on
Head
this
to head?
week. Yep, this week.
Ooh, boy.
All right.
Let's see what happens.
We'll see the outcome of that. Maybe we can get Collective Mids on the line next week to talk about it.
Especially if they win.
Just see what Sam's face looks like. Thanks very much for joining us. Episode 86 for Here We Crow. Thanks again for filling in for Dan. Kate, we'll sure you see you in the next few weeks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Go get some sleep.
Are you going to is everyone going to the footy on Friday?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll be there.
Are you going to the footy?
I don't know if Lizzie's still in the chat, but I might need to
Lizzie's already asked if Maggie May's old enough to go to the game on Friday night.
Right.
I said I think she's the perfect age.
I think there was a report. Lizzie was talking about there being some report about the youngest child at a Crows game, and it was in like 7 or 8 days. And so we could beat that on Friday if we took
for a 6-dayer.
We took Henry at 6 weeks, not Day's territory.
It should be 6 days if we took her. So
wow. Well, you got to start at some point. Got to get out there, don't you?
Maybe, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you at the game, everyone. Don't forget to call us on the Here We Crow phone. Let's go, Crows.
Loved it in the chat too. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Now I'll play Ben's song.